welcome to Tinkering with Atkelar. Since I'm still waiting for some spare parts for the tractor engine rebuild that started as an oil check, I have a little workshop improvement project for this episode. Fiddling around with mains-powered devices has become a regular theme for me. In order to avoid tripping my RCD or blowing up my oscilloscope when poking around on primary side circuitry, I needed something to provide the 240 volts AC without a physical connection to my outlet. I looked at lab isolation transformers on eBay and after waking up from sticker shock, quickly decided the cheaper route would be a DC-AC converter used normally for camping and RV applications. I found a 300 watt true sine one that had a reasonable price tag, and together with a small car battery, this setup provides enough power to test devices until they are ready for the real outlet. But here's my problem. The battery might be small by vehicular standards, but as a desktop bottom unit, it still is too heavy to move. And since the terminals are exposed, I have to constantly worry about dropping metal tools that might short it out and set the house on fire. I also charge the battery in my workshop, not in my office-based electronics workplace, and the chintzy built-in handle is clearly not made for lugging it around. This is when a long-hatched plan was put into motion. Make an enclosure with a proper carry handle and some wheels to stow it away when not in use. After some quick measurements, I started with some plywood scraps. The bottom plate should be the only component under physical stress, so I used the thicker part I had around for that. I could have used a stop on my cutting sled for some more precise cuts, but this is another workshop project. As long as it fits together without any visible gaps, I can fix it on the belt sander. To connect the pieces, I went with some fast-curing wood glue and a few strategic screws for the more critical parts, like the sideboards. The power inverter is a bit narrower than the battery. I used the space for a tray to hold support stuff, like some standard power cables. I decided to make the inverter a loose fit, since the case is also part of the cooling strategy. Just a couple of square blocks to hold it in place when plugging stuff in. Here I add a few eye bolts on strategic locations before giving the whole thing a quick coat of clear paint. Drilling some holes for the 12-volt wires next. The carry handle would present a problem for the weight distribution. If I created a classical version with the handle connected to the side pieces, I would need to reinforce the base plate for the battery quite considerably. I came up with a cord-based solution. A loop goes around the sides, underneath the base, and through a piece of copper pipe that I wrapped with gaffer tape. The tape makes for a grippy surface and protects the cord against chafing. A few small but sturdy wheels will make it easy to slide it under my desk for storage. To make it look even more professional, I got rid of those cheap clamps for the battery and replaced them with equally cheap crimp-on eyes to connect to some insulated battery terminals. These are the main reason the project is delayed. I ordered them in March and they finally arrived mid-August. And here we have it, a power bank for 240 volts AC at 300 watt continuous load. I didn't want to put it on my usual turntable, as I think it's slightly beyond the weight I had in mind when I created that one. And that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed this little project. See you next time! Since the case is also part of the cooling strategy, Why does it say hast in my script?